The first letter arrived on a Tuesday morning, tucked neatly inside my mailbox like a dagger waiting to strike. It was from the Homeowners Association, and in bold letters across the top it read, "Violation notice: excessive dog barking." My hands trembled as I unfolded it. "They fined me $200 for disturbing the peace." Disturbing the peace? My golden retriever, Max, wasn't a nuisance. He was my companion, my family, the one who had been there for me when my life fell apart. His barking wasn't noisy, it was life echoing through my home. I had bought this house to start over after losing my wife, Claire, to cancer 2 years earlier. Max had been her dog first, and in many ways, he carried her spirit. His cheerful barks in the yard felt like a reminder that joy was still possible. So when the hoe tried to silence him, it felt personal, like they were trying to silence her memory too. At first, I tried to comply. I kept Max inside more often, walked him late at night, even considered expensive training programs. But each week, the letters kept coming, each with larger fines: $400, $600, $1,000. It was as if the hoe had made me their personal target. I appealed, wrote letters, attended their cold board meetings, but all I got in return were blank stares and condescending smiles. The final straw came one evening when Max barked at a squirrel in the yard. Within minutes, my phone buzzed with a message: "This is your last warning. Control your dog or face legal action." That night, I sat at my kitchen table staring at a stack of violation notices. I thought about moving, about running away from this suffocating neighborhood. But then I remembered Clara's words. She used to say, "Don't ever let people bully you into shrinking. Stand tall, even if you have to do it alone." I wasn't going to let them push me out of my own home. The next morning, I called my lawyer. It turned out the hoe was barely scraping by financially. The neighborhood wasn't as stable as they pretended. With the right timing and enough resources, which, after years of smart investments in the inheritance Clara left me, I thought I could make a move no one would expect. I started quietly buying up properties as they went on sale, then more aggressively approached owners who were tired of the hoe's overreach. Many were eager to sell just to get out from under the board's thumb. Within a year, I owned nearly half the neighborhood. By the second year, I owned it all. The look on the board president's face when I walked into the final home meeting was priceless. She stood tall, smug as ever, prepared to lecture me about my dog problem. Instead, I dropped the paperwork on the table. "You don't own this neighborhood anymore," I said, locking eyes with her. "I do." Silence fell. Some gasped. Others smiled faintly, like they'd just been set free. The president sputtered, You can't just But I already had. The first thing I did was dissolve the home. The second thing, I unveiled my plan. The entire neighborhood would be transformed into a sprawling community dog park. Where there had once been rigid rules about grass length and mailbox colors, there would now be open fields, shaded trails, dog-friendly cafes, and playgrounds where families and pets could laugh together without fear of fines. At first, people thought I was crazy. But soon, the joy was undeniable. Children's laughter mixed with the sounds of barking dogs running free. Neighbors who once barely waved at each other now shared benches and conversations while their pets played. What had been a prison of petty rules became a sanctuary of freedom and connection. I remember one afternoon sitting on a park bench, watching Max chase a tennis ball across what used to be a row of townhouses. A young boy ran past me, his puppy trailing behind. He stopped and said, "Thanks, mister. This is the best place ever." My throat tightened. For the first time in years, I felt Clara's presence not as a painful absence but as a warm smile inside me. She would have loved this. Of course, there were challenges. Not everyone agreed at first. Some fought me, claiming I was destroying property values. But when they saw families flocking in, businesses opening around the park, and the sense of community growing stronger than ever, even the harshest critics softened. Property values actually rose, but more importantly, so did happiness. Max lived long enough to see it all to run free in fields that once carried the weight of bitterness and rules. When he passed away, I buried him under a tree in the park, with a plaque that read, "Here lies Max, who barked so the world could be free." Standing there, I realized something. This wasn't just about winning against the home. It was about reclaiming life, joy, and community. What began as a fight for one dog became a revolution for everyone who had ever felt trapped by small-minded control. So yes, they ho fined me for my dog's barking. But in the end, Max's voice was louder than their rules. His bark turned into a legacy, one that made a neighborhood into a sanctuary and a home into hope. And every time I hear a dog bark in that park, I smile. Because to me, it doesn't sound like noise. It sounds like freedom.